Good morning, everyone. Today we will discuss our next topic of Unit 4. In Unit 4, we were discussing about metal alkyl aryl complexes, basically which are having sigma bonding in them, and the reaction that we already discussed is beta elimination reaction. So in the previous lecture, we discussed beta elimination reaction, which was the most common pathway for the decomposition of metal alkyl complexes, especially the main group metal alkyls. Now today we are moving forward towards another decomposition pathway for metal alkyl compounds, that is reductive elimination. So the reductive elimination a second common decomposition pathway for metal alkyls. We have seen that metal alkyl complexes are really unstable, and that is due to difference in their electronegativities. That metals are generally more electropositive, and the alkyl part or the aryl part behaves like an anion, and therefore what happens? The metal carbon bond attains a certain amount of polarity, and therefore the alkyl or aryls are behaving like stable anions and they get separated from the metal. So the metal alkyls are quite unstable, especially in case of metal main group elements and in the early transition metals. So beta elimination was the first very common decomposition pathway. The second one is the reductive elimination. Now what happens in reductive elimination? It is accompanied by the reduction of the metal ion, that is reduction in the oxidation state, and this reduction occurs by 2 units. So what happens if the earlier oxidation state of metal is +4. Now after reductive elimination it becomes +2. Or if it was +2 before the reductive elimination, after the reaction it becomes 0. So the reductive elimination is very common pathway, and during this reaction what happens? The metal alkyls decompose. Another important feature of this reaction is the coordination number is also decreased by 2 numbers. So if the metal is having a coordination number of 6, it becomes 4 after the reaction, or if it is 4 before the reaction, then it becomes 2 after the reaction. So principally, the reductive elimination reaction can take place in all type of complexes, and even when they are D0 or 18 electron complexes. D0 is when metal has nothing to lose. When it is oxidation, its oxidation state, its electronic configuration is D0. And even it can happen when our complex is having 18 electron. We have seen that the complexes having 18 electron, they are thermodynamically stable, and they generally do not undergo uh, any other reaction because they are already thermodynamically stable. So the reductive elimination can take place even when our complex is having 18 electron, and the only condition here is what? The only condition is the metal, it should have different stable oxidation states, right? Metal should have a stable oxidation state even when we decrease it by +2. So this is possible generally in case of transition metals, right? It is not possible in case of main group elements because main group metals generally do not have variable oxidation states. So the only condition here for the reductive elimination to occur is that our metal should have exist in the two different oxidation state. One is suppose one is X oxidation state and another one is X minus 2. So this is the only condition for reductive elimination to occur. In many cases, reductive elimination is not observed. Sometimes it is not observed. And what are the cases? So here you can see equation 3.3, that is a reaction And this showing the process of reductive elimination. If you can see, M is my metal atom, Ln, n number of L are attached here, and this metal is having methyl and X. So this methyl is actually attached to metal itself, and X is also attached to the metal. So what happens during the reductive elimination? Like I told you, the metal goes its lower oxidation state, that is reduction in the oxidation state, and there is elimination of this moiety, that is MEX. So what happens here in such type of reductive elimination reaction? If this X is what? If the X is a halogen. So if you can see, this complex 3.9 is having 18 electron, it is completely stable complex. So in this case, if my X is what? It is halogen, then what will happen? This reaction will not take place. And why is it so? Because the complex, this complex 3.9 complex is more stable as compared to the complex that we are getting after the reductive elimination, that is L and M. So what happens? The position of equilibrium for this equation usually lies well over to the side of 3.9. The position of equilibrium is towards the backward reaction, and therefore this is not a spontaneous reaction when this X is a halogen atom. So what will happen when the reductive elimination will take place? Now the complex will be a 16 electron complex, and this reaction is not feasible. But what if X is not halogen? So in this reaction, on the other hand, when X is H, if this X is a hydride, it is a hydride ligand H attached to the metal atom, then what will happen? The reaction is usually both kinetically facile and thermodynamically favorable. So isolable alkyl hydrides are there. So what happens here? The decomposition of such type of complexes when X is what? H. So the metal hydrides quickly decomposes, because now what happens? Removal of this MEX. Now what will happen? This will be removal of some alkane molecule, right? If X is H, then MEH will be methane. So the removal of alkane from such complexes is quite uh, kinetically favored, and the complexes formed after this, they are thermodynamically very stable. So what happens? This type of decomposition when X is a hydrogen or hydride, it takes place quickly, and therefore what happens? Isolable alkyl hydrides are rare. You cannot isolate such type of compound because they are very unstable. They quickly decomposes and releases the hydride in the form of alkane, and what happens? We see reductive elimination. So it is just the reverse case of earlier reaction when we saw that X is halogen. Then what happens? Such type of halide complexes are isolable, you can isolate them because they are very stable. But in case of hydrides, alkyl hydride complexes, they are quite rare. You cannot isolate them because they are so unstable that they quickly release alkane molecule and become stable. So this was the case when we have alkyl hydride complexes. Another case is when this X is some alkyl group, like this could be some methyl group. So if X is CH3, then what will happen? The thermodynamics still favor the elimination. If you see the reaction, it is still possible due to thermodynamics. The product that we are getting at the end of the reaction is thermodynamically stable. So this reaction is favorable in the forward direction and the decomposition takes place. But what happens? The reaction is very slow, and that is due to the kinetic factor. Reaction is very slow, and if I have methyl group in place of X here, what will happen? This methyl will combine with another methyl, and there will be removal of another alkene. But now this reaction is kinetically less favored, and therefore it is very slow reaction. Why is it so? That could be due to the bulkiness of both of these ligands. It is much easier for hydrogen to get combined with a methyl group and to be removed as an alkane. This is much easier. But when I have a alkyl group here, and even if the smallest alkyl group I have here, then what happens? The reaction is thermodynamically favorable, but it is kinetically a slower reaction. Takes time. So the reactions involving the hydrogen atom are much faster than those involving any other element. What conclusion we can draw here is, during the reductive elimination reaction, the decomposition pathway is followed very quickly and favorably when I have hydrogen here. But when except hydrogen, any other element is present, any other group is there, like if I have halide group is attached here, then this reaction will not take place at all. And if I have any other alkyl group here in the place of X, then also this reaction will not take place at all. And why is it so? Because the hydrogen carries no electrons other than the bonding electron. These are in the 1s orbital. Hydrogen has only 1s orbital and it has only the bonding electron with itself. No other electrons are involved here. Like in case of halide, you can say halide has generally all the halides, they have a filled orbitals and their electronic configuration is full. They have so many other electrons except the bonding ones. So what happens? The hydrogen, due to absence of any other electrons except the bonding ones, it is capable of making and breaking bonds in any direction in the transition state. So in the transition state, what happens? It is easy for hydrogen to transfer the electron and move in the any of the direction. Again, you can count for the steric factors here, because due to the small size of hydrogen, it can move easily in the transition state and it can get attached to the methyl group very easily. So the reaction is very favorable when I have hydride in place of X. Now, suppose if I talk about the CH3 group, the methyl group, then the methyl group is having sp3 hybridized carbon. And what happens due to the sp3 orbital of CH3 fragment? What happens? This sp3, it should have some certain direction in the space, right? It should be directed to a certain orientation, and then what will happen? To overlap with another sp3 of CH3 group, it will take time and there will be poor overlap, poor orbital overlap due to the orientation of the molecular orbital after the hybridization. So what happens? The reaction takes place, but it is kinetically less favored and it takes time. This is a possible reaction. Thermodynamics favor this reaction, but kinetics is slow because it takes time to orbital to get overlapped. Then there are certain example of this pathway. Like you can see here a complex of gold. What happens here? This is example of reductive elimination, and a C2H6 is eliminated here. That is, alkene is eliminated. Then organometal hybrids often decompose by this route. Again, you can see hydrogen is present here. So this hydrogen will get combined to the R and will be removed as RH. And such reactions assume special significance in catalytic hydrogenation process. Catalytic hydrogenation is when you hydrogenate some unsaturated olefins by using a catalyst. That is a catalytic hydrogenation process. And what happens? We have seen that oxidative addition and reductive elimination, they form a part of such catalytic cycles. So at the beginning of the catalytic cycle, there is oxidative addition of the hydrogen, and at the end of the cycle, what happens? There is reductive elimination. So end of the reaction, what happens? The R combines with H and the RH is removed. This is reductive elimination, and it is very important in case of catalytic hydrogenation process. Reductive elimination frequently follows oxidative addition, and in many important catalytic processes, both these phenomena play a crucial role. Like I've told you, in catalytic processes, what happens? We see alternate oxidative addition and reductive elimination. In between these two reactions, we can observe insertion reaction, we can observe transmetallation reactions, but these two are very important during any catalytic process. So an example is given here. As you can see, this is a complex of gold, and when it is added with methyl iodide, what happens? This is oxidative addition, and at the end, what happens? We saw we see reductive elimination. So reductive elimination is not only important in case of alkyl compounds, it is also very important in case of the catalytic cycles, the catalytic reactions. Now, the complexes in which the orbital occupation is higher than usual for the concerned metal will be more susceptible to undergo elimination reactions. Suppose if a metal is very stable in its 4 coordination number and it has acquired 6 ligands and it has increased its coordination number to 6, then what will happen? Such a type of complexes will be very quick for reductive elimination because they tends to acquire their stable state. So such metals where the orbital occupation is higher than the usual one for the concerned metal, then they will be more susceptible to undergo the elimination reaction. And any reaction or change in the conditions which increases the orbital occupation is likely to be followed by a counterbalancing elimination. So such effects are most noticeable towards the end of the transition series. In the late transition metals, such type of changes could be seen because if you remember the most stable coordination number in case of a late transition metal, it is generally 2. So yeah, or in case of just before the late transition metals, the coordination number is 4. The most stable coordination number is 4. So whenever the orbital occupation is increased due to any change in condition, due to any change in reaction, like in case of hydrogenation reaction, that orbital occupation is increased during the catalytic hydrogenation reaction. Hydrogen get inserted inside the metal coordination sphere and increases its oxidation number, increases the orbital occupancy. Then what happens? Such type of effects, they usually result in the reductive elimination at the end. So the formal oxidation number is less important than the electron availability at the metal. For example, you can see here a nickel complex, and what happens here after the reductive elimination, the metal nickel gets free and butane is released. Butene is released. It is an alkene molecule, and by Py, this ligand is released. So in such type of cases where the orbital occupancy is already high, then what happens? The formal oxidation state of the metal does not play the role. Like I have told you, the only condition for reductive elimination is that the metal should have variable oxidation state, and it should have at least 2 stable oxidation state which are separated by +2. So yes, this could be the case, but when the orbital occupancy comes into role, if it is higher than the usual, then reductive elimination is a must reaction and it takes place in such type of complexes. So this was the reductive elimination pathway. Now the second reaction or for the decomposition is alpha elimination. And alpha elimination occurs when the beta elimination is generally not possible, then alpha elimination pathway takes place. Such type of reactions are also having considerable synthetic utility in the main group sigma hydrocarbons, and they involve transfer of a substituent R from alpha carbon atom to the metal. What happens? Transfer of a substituent R from alpha carbon. The alpha carbon is now involved here In the beta elimination, we have seen that beta carbon was involved. But here the alpha carbon plays a role, and if it is having a substituent R, then what will happen? This substituent will be transferred with the elimination of a carbene, and this carbene remains coordinated to the metal. So let us look into the reaction. It is much less observed in transition metal hydrocarbides, and main example involve metal methyl, but they are very common in case of main group hydrocarbides. The binary per methyl such as TAME5, WMEC, that is hexamethyl tungsten, pentamethyl tantalum, okay, hexamethyl rhenium, ReMe6. They are not very stable and they tend to decompose explosively with the formation of methane. So this is what, this is the alpha carbon elimination or alpha elimination, where the alpha carbon is removed. Alpha carbon is removing its substituent, and the carbene gets attached with the metal. So here you can see WCH2 thrice with the simultaneous elimination of 3 methyl groups. So groups are eliminated, yes, and the carbenes are generated, they get attached to the metal itself. So in such type of complexes, these are the transition metal alkyls. What happens? Alpha elimination reaction is also possible. Now, if the metal is in its highest oxidation state, an internal oxidative addition of this type occurs, and it is not feasible for the above decomposition, which could occur either via homolytic fission. Homolytic fission always results in free radicals. Free radicals are formed after homolytic fission, or alpha elimination through a four-centered transition state. So my metal is in the highest oxidation state. If so, what happens? This is type of internal oxidative addition. This is my metal having CH3, okay, and this type of internal oxidative addition, this is not possible by any of the mechanism. It is not possible. So what happens here? We have a four-centered transition state. This pathway plays a key role in the synthesis of alkyl-idene complexes. At the end, when carbene is attached to the metal ion, what happens? Alkyl-idene complexes are generated, and therefore alpha elimination reaction is important for the synthesis of such complexes. A number of metal benzyles and neopentyles, such as those of titanium and tantalum, have been shown to decompose by this pathway. Titanium and tantalum, generally, their benzyles and neopentyles, they decompose by alpha elimination. Now, another mechanism of alpha elimination involves agostic hydrogens. Now, agostic hydrogens are what? CHM. When hydrogen is present between carbon and metal, this is agostic hydrogen, and such complexes are agostic alkyls. So they have been studied by crystallographic analysis, and what happens here? A methyl group is attached to D0 metal center, which has less than 18 electron environment. The one of the CH bond of methyl group is distorted in such a manner that it lies within the bonding distance of the metal. So here you can see this is the titanium complex. This is a titanium complex, and it is an example of agostic alkyl. So this is my titanium. Other ligands are attached usually, but what happens? If you see here the alkyl group or the ethyl group, what happens here? This titanium is attached to the carbon, and also here from this carbon it is attached with the help of a hydrogen. So this hydrogen is coming towards the metal and forming a bond. So this type of interaction is what? This is agostic interaction. This methyl group is distorted, and the hydrogen is where it was found when the crystallographic studies were done, it was found that this hydrogen is present within the bonding distance of titanium. So this hydrogen is coming towards the metal, and such type of interactions are called agostic interactions, or agostic hydrogens are present here. They are called agostic complexes, and such type of complexes also undergo alpha elimination reaction. So the term agostic is used particularly in those situations where a hydrogen atom is covalently bonded both to the carbon atom and a transition metal atom. My hydrogen is bonded to carbon as well as the transition metal atom. So evidences for such interaction has been studied, and we also have spectroscopic evidences in support of this theory. So again, you can see here we have a complex osmium and hydrogen is present between these as a bridging group, and CH2 is also a bridging group. But what happens? One hydrogen of the CH3 is agostic in nature, and it is coming near to the osmium. It is present near to the osmium, and such type of interactions are agostic interactions. They can take place from either of the places. So these type of complexes are also undergoing the alpha elimination reaction. Next reaction we are going to study is homolytic MC bond cleavage. Homolytic bond cleavage is when the bond is straight away broken between the metal and carbon, and now metal is either free, either it exists in its free state after the reaction, or it may form other complexes which are not organometallics. So, homolytic fission of MC bond. It appears to be a common pathway for decomposition of main group alkyls, and sometimes it is also seen with the transition metal alkyl. One reaction is given here. This is example. What happens here? Metal and carbon bond is broken, and the group attached here, the aryl group attached here, is straight away getting away from the metal. So why this pathway is followed? Transition metal alkyls are weakly nucleophilic. They are weakly nucleophilic. They tend to search. They have affinity for the positive charge, and that is why they decompose in the presence of proton. In case of even the slight acidity, or in case of protons, if proton is present anywhere near to them, then what will happen? They are nucleophile and they acquire that proton. Now, who will acquire that proton? The alkyl or aryl group, which is present along with the metal atom here. This is nucleophile because this is what? This is anion. Like I have told you, in case of alkyl and aryl, the carbon part or the alkyl aryl part, it becomes anion, and sometimes it is very very stable, so it quickly gets separated from the metal. And sometimes when proton is present, now what will happen? Because this is nucleophile, it is already searching for some positive charge, they will be separated from the metal more quickly. And what happens now? There is homolytic metal carbon bond cleavage. Nucleophilic reaction on alkyls in the oxidative condition, they are also of this category. These reactions are also what? They are representing the homolytic MC bond cleavage. Now here are certain examples of homolytic metal carbon bond cleavage. TiMe4, and now in the product you can see we do not have any metal carbon bond, right? So this is also a type of metal carbon bond cleavage, homolytic metal carbon bond cleavage. Again you can see here, this is the zirconium complex and the metal carbon bond is cleaved. Now these all reactions are example of metal carbon bond cleavage, and you can look at them separately. How to practice reactions, because in organometallic chemistry you have to write so many reactions in your answer. Okay, without writing a proper reaction, you will not get good marks. So The only method for this is just keep writing reactions in your notebook. Whenever you are attending a class, be ready with your notebook and pen. And whatever is visible on the screen, whatever reaction you are seeing on the screen, you should write them in your copy quickly. Then only you will be able to remember them in future. So you should always remember that you should have a copy with yourself and you should write whatever I am teaching you. So these are the reactions of uh, the example we have seen, homolytic carbon bond cleavage. Then we also have some insertion reactions, and they are also very common. Insertion is simply what when you are inserting a ligand to the metal atom, and these ligands could be generally the unsaturated ligands, like we can have carbonyl, carbon dioxide, isocyanide, sulfur dioxide. These are the unsaturated ligand, and generally what happens, they are inserted to metal carbon bond to give new product. Sometimes hydrides are also added, and that is also an example of insertion reaction, like in case of catalytic cycles. Such type of reaction allows us to make an alkyl from an alkene and a metal hydride. And this sequence can lead to a whole series of catalytic transformation of alkenes. So, when you are using a platinum catalyst, like in the earlier slide I have shown you, what was happening there? Insertion reaction was happening in which the hydride is inserted to the platinum atom. And then the hydride is later on transferred to the alkene molecule and alkane is released. So the insertion reactions are sometimes having an independent existence and sometimes they are a part of a catalytic reaction. Most common is the CO insertion reaction. These reactions have their independent existence where you can insert a carbonyl group into the metal complex. Like here in case of ruthenium complex, you can see uh, this R group. The CO is transferred to one of the R group and then another CO is attached here in the product. So what type of reaction is this? We have already seen these type of reactions, and can you tell me the name of this reaction? When one of the group is eliminated, one ligand is eliminated and get attached to another ligand, and then one vacant site is created here, and another ligand makes its entry, because we do not want to change the coordination number of the metal here. Okay, insertion is taking place, but the coordination number is not changing. So how that insertion is possible? The only possible pathway is one of the ligand is getting removed and it is getting attached to another ligand. So please go through your unit 2 content, and tomorrow I will ask you what type of reaction is this. These are very significant reactions, and when we were discussing different type of reactions, uh, along with the reductive elimination and oxidative addition, then this type of reaction we also discussed. So this is insertion reaction, and if you can see, the coordination number of metal is not changing anywhere. Okay, because if the coordination number will change, then what will happen? This will affect the thermodynamic stability of the metal complex. And then what will happen? Then just after the insertion reaction, there will be some reductive elimination. So if this was the case, if the coordination number was changing, then such reactions will not be possible. So this is a possible pathway and it has a certain name. I want that name from your side. Kindly go through your unit 2 and tomorrow tell me what type of reaction is this. One vacant place is created on the metal atom. The group is transferred to another ligand already attached to the metal, and on this vacant site now the coming ligand get attached. These type of reactions are the most common preparative method for metal carbonyls. Generally, metal carbonyls are prepared by this route, and these all reactions are very important. Again, you should write these reactions in your notebook so that you can remember them. Second type of insertion reactions are where the insertion of CO2, SO2 or CS2 is taking place. So you should also remember these reactions, which are very important, and the only way to get them remembered is write them in your notebook. So simple addition is taking place, like take this first reaction, copper, methyl group and PTH2. Now what happens? CO2 is inserted here and it is inserted along with this methyl. Then in the second reaction, what is taking place? CO2 is simply getting inserted, the same complex will be formed. In the third reaction, where you can see a gold complex, the SO2 is getting attached simply to the methyl group is methyl group, and this is again eta 1. So you can see eta 1 represent what? The metal is attached to only one carbon atom. Okay, this is a sigma bond and the coordination number is not changed here. Then in all these reactions, here you can see if you have a printing mistake here, this is also CH thrice. Okay, so the coordination number is not changing in any type of insertion reaction. Now insertion of NC and CO is also possible, but it was not extensively studied and not so many complexes are known for such insertion reactions. However, one insertion reaction is given here for the addition of NC. So again, the coordination number is not changing here. Now, just a few questions I will ask to you. When do we observe thermodynamically favored reductive elimination reactions? In the start of this lecture, I told you what is the condition for reductive elimination reaction to take place. I told you about the common reaction and we saw that when X is halide, then the reaction is not favorable. If you remember, when X is the methyl group, then the reaction is favorable, but kinetically it is very slow. And when this reaction is thermodynamically favored and takes place quickly, when my X is what? When the X is hydrogen. So the only condition for reductive elimination reaction to occur is when X is hydrogen. And another condition is metal should have two oxidation states, two stable oxidation states having a difference of 2. Now the second question is, alpha elimination involves elimination of which moiety? In the case of alpha elimination, what group is eliminated which later on combines with the metal? In the beta elimination pathway, we saw that alkanes are removed. And alpha elimination, in alpha elimination, carbene is removed. And this carbene gets attached to the metal atom again. Now my last question is, what are agostic hydrogen interactions? Could you tell me this? What are agostic hydrogen interactions? Agostic hydrogen interactions are when the hydrogen is simultaneously combined to the metal atom and the ligand, both MHC. These are what? They are the agostic hydrogen interactions.